Screonk, a Godzilla movie marathon where we're stomping through Godzilla's filmography. I'm Derek, and I've seen all the Godzilla movies.
And I'm Doug, and I've seen 24 Godzilla movies, and over the past couple years, a surprising number of Ishiro Honda horror sci-fi flicks.
And we're talking about Ishiro Honda's final movie under a long-term contract with Toho in the original studio system, though not his final movie with Toho. We will be watching another one. The sci-fi kaiju film Space Amoeba, also known as Gezora Ganime Kameba Keisen Nankai no Daikaiju, which translates to Gezora Ganime's Kamebas Battle, Giant Monsters of the South Seas in Japanese. And in the US, originally shown as Yog, Monster from Space. Released in Japan on August 1st, 1970, it was directed by, of course, Ishiro Honda with special effects by Sadamasa Arikawa, written by Ei Ogawa, produced by Tomoyuki Tanaka and Fumio Tanaka, with a score by Akira Ifukube. We'd like to take a quick moment to thank our spectacular patrons, Bo, Carl, Katie, Jason, Zoe, James, Keith, Cody, Toby, Hamish, Blake, Jace, Jojack, David, Russ, and Christian.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And for this episode, we do have a guest from Archie Comics and creator of Sci-Fi Explosion. It's Chris Cummins.
Hello, everyone. Thank you both so much for having me on again.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, this is your first time on Screon.
Hey,
actually.
It is my first time on Screon. Thank you so much for having me on. Long-time listener, first-time guest. Thank you.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I'm no stranger to the magic of the Glitter Jaw Podcast Network. I feel as if I've been on.
Of course. You know, I know we've heard the story a million times because you've been on this podcast like so many times. But what's your history?
Not this
with,
podcast, Derek.
I was being sarcastic. So I was going to ask you what your history with Godzilla is.
Okay, my history with Godzilla is just kind of like growing up. It would be like here and there Godzilla movies I would watch. But I really started getting into kaiju movies through the influence of a friend of mine who is you. So that's that's it. I had seen like a bunch before I met you, Derek, but actually, like, I think now Doug has probably seen more Godzilla films than I have, which is interesting.
It is getting weird to be at the point where I can solidly say I've seen most Godzilla movies.
Yeah,
which is more Godzilla movies than the average person.
Yeah,
but like personally with Godzilla is a thing that I always like loved, and I was aware of, and I had seen. Like mainly on like Creature Double Feature here in Philly growing up. So I'd seen like all the Showa era, multiple times and stuff. But over the past couple of years, I've really kind of grown to appreciate them more. I can't just like half-ass any fandoms. When I like a fandom, I have to become completely obsessed and all consumed with it. And so I keep certain fandoms at arm's length. And for the longest time, I was just like, I'm never going to get into classic Doctor Who. I'm never going to get into Godzilla because there's just simply too much of it. Mm-hmm. And, both of those are out the window now. But yeah, my favorite Godzilla is Godzilla versus Hedorah, which is
I'm excited to get to that one.
Just a perfect movie, but it'll remain my favorite until I see something else that becomes my favorite. But I don't think that one's going to be topped in my mind. So
yeah. Doug will find out about that next month.
I'm excited.
I'm very excited to hear your episode on that.
Yeah, its reputation precedes it, so I've been curious for a long time now.
Yeah,
he's such a delightful little freak. I love it.
Yeah. This movie, obviously, it's not a Godzilla movie. Obviously, it's kind of in the sort of universe of it, or vaguely tangentially related. So I guess what's your tell people what your history with, like, I guess kaiju tokusatsu stuff in general is, and how you end up at guesting on a podcast about Space Amoeba of all things.
Yeah. So always been a fan of sci-fi and things like this. just growing up. Obviously, for the past like 11 years, I've been doing Sci-Fi Explosion, which is like a comedy video show that kind of celebrates how science fiction has permeated every aspect of contemporary life. And since I've been doing that show, like I've had a couple of like nerd blind spots that I've wanted to fill in on. And Honda's filmography, is a big one. And so when I saw the Criterion Channel has been like celebrating like the Showa Heisei era of Godzilla, so I've been watching that. But then they have this other section that has just like his non-Godzilla films that are just like the various, Godzilla adjacent kind of works.
Mm.
So that's how I personally kind of stumbled upon this movie just about a month ago because I just the word space amoeba together, those two words together, just I found delightful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I said, "Oh, that sounds lovely," and I went into it uh, as a completely blind watch. I just thought, with those two words, how can I fail? And that brings us here. But I saw this movie and I'm very, very charmed by it, despite its
Yeah.
problems, its shortcomings. And I'm just really, really excited to kind of discuss this movie and its three fantastic monsters, of which I have many questions for
Yeah.
the two of you about. So
Oh,
yeah.
Sure. May or may not be able to answer this.
Oh, I guarantee the one question I'm specifically asking, you'll both have an answer for. So just to tease that.
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I know what that question's going to
Of
be.
course you do, Derek.
Yep.
I love that. I love that you're here for this. This is Doug and I's first time watching this for both of us.
Yeah.
So I really knew very little other than I knew one of the monsters very well, and then the other ones a little more vaguely. But Doug, what's your general thoughts on this movie? Like, did you know anything about? You didn't know anything about this one going
No,
into it, right?
I knew this movie existed probably longer than a lot of the movies we've talked about, just because, like you said, Chris, the combination of words
Yeah.
space amoeba sounds perfect. It sounds like a perfect movie, right?
I wish.
And so it's been on my list for a while to just watch, and then I knew we would do it for this, so I didn't look more into it, but I didn't know anything other than the name. Didn't even realize that there were like big costumed monsters in it. I assumed it would be
Oh, I'd love
more
that.
like, yeah, I assumed it would
That's
be
cool.
more like some of the other non-Godzilla Honda stuff I've seen, which doesn't always have the big, huge suited monsters in it. So I didn't really know anything going in. I like this movie. I find it a lot of fun. I
Sure.
don't know that I would call it like a good movie.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of a disparity between what I like and what I would call good, but it is definitely a movie that I will be happy to watch again, which I can't necessarily say of every movie we've covered, you know?
If I could just echo those sentiments, because I think you kind of nailed it just there, Doug, because like this is not a quote unquote good movie, but it is super entertaining movie. And for me, like the first time I watched it was on like I think it was like a Friday night, like a later in the evening Friday night movie. And then I was thinking about it when I rewatched it again over the weekend. I'm like, this is a great like rainy Saturday like kaiju
Yeah.
film.
Oh
It's
yeah,
just like
yeah.
it's a little slow at times,
Mm-hmm.
and it can the characters aren't the most memorable of characters,
Sure.
but it's likable enough and it's enjoyable enough, and there are just sequences of just absolute rubber monster mayhem
Yeah.
that are so entertaining to me, and I'm so in love with one specific monster in this movie that I found out there's like merch of the monster, and of course, again, I can't just like something. I have to do it. I would like to. I should have given this earlier. I do want to give a little Chris Cummins lore to everyone out there, though.
Yeah, please.
So I have I'm a weird man, and I have a lot of weird fears, and like I realized that I inherited that from my father because like there would be times like growing up where like if I didn't like clean something the right way, like if I wasn't doing my chores, my dad would say like, "Oh, it's gonna get all amoebas on there if you don't clean it right." And I think he meant bacteria, but
Yeah.
like he also said like amoebas. But I also have that thing where I'm terrified of that one like brain-eating amoeba that you get from fresh
Oh,
water.
sure.
And I've discussed this with Derek many times because, like,
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, I can't do anything with fresh water. I'll get those amoebas up my nose that'll brain, you know. So, so I
Me and
have,
my Great Lakes are crying.
yeah, I
Yeah,
just
right.
have like, I think it's like Nigeria Phallus or something.
Can
whatever
never
it's
invite
called.
you to go kayaking or
Yeah.
just even just like on any kind of ferry or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I'm just like I like a ferry if it's like an indoor ferry that has like a bar or something, that would be cool. But if there's any chance of like water going up my nose, like I won't even do I get sinus infections all the time and I won't even do like a neti pot because there have been people in like Florida who've gotten that bacteria, the amoeba up their nose.
Of course, that would happen in Florida.
This is all just my weird fears. My weird fears have taken over this show. This is all coming back to say that so I have a weird fear of amoebas. So is it amoeba or amoebas? I think it's amoeba. Anyway,
Oh yeah,
probably
what is the
amoeba.
what is the plural?
what
of
is the
amoeba,
plural
actually?
of it?
I think you just throw an E on the end and it's
Amoebae.
Amoebae.
that's it.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. But
Actually, I think amoebae literally is like you can. I think amoebas is accepted, but I think
Yeah.
that amoebae is also like maybe the more formal one.
Okay.
So I was just joking, but that's actually real.
like so like the takeaway here is not only am I just like a freak with the weirdest of weird fears, but like I'm also kind of drawn to like amoeba stuff. So that also was one of the reasons I just kind of watched this with no background information on, right? And you know, we get into the movie itself, and I guess I'll let y'all pick up from here and jump in as we go along. I just
Yeah.
had to give that very important backstory for me, though.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to face your fears, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and I'm sure the representation of amoebae in this film is so so realistic and
Oh,
accurate to the real
absolutely.
world that
Scientifically
really
accurate.
it was
Yes.
basically immersion therapy, being exposed to that, and now you're over your fears because you understand how amoebas work.
Yeah.
Derek
of
wanted
course.
me to watch this in a swamp with him, and I said, absolutely not.
Get the full experience,
Yeah.
Derek, I'm curious,
Yeah.
one, what you knew about this, and two, what your impressions are, because I don't often get to ask you that.
Yeah, I knew the title and I knew that there were multiple monsters in it, but I didn't know how it was weighted. For some reason, like the one that always stuck with me from this movie was Godzilla being like the big sort of octopus, squid, cuttlefish dude. And I think that's the one that like is represented the most on like art of this movie and like merchandising for it, because it's sort of because there's no other kaiju that's like that we've seen, that's a prominent one or anything, right?
And I think it's inspired like many an homage.
Right. Exactly. So like I think so I knew that creature was in it. I knew about the other two, but like that's the one that I knew, and I a part of me was sort of like, did they just not know what an amoeba looked like, and they just made their, like, I was expecting a kaiju amoeba in this movie, so I was like, oh, is the way that they're representing an amoeba is to make it look kind of like an octopus or something, because I could sort of see that, because they're both, because
Sure.
the idea of like an octopus already is sort of a weird looking thing, like I could imagine them thinking like that a microscopic organism might look like that, so
Right.
I was that's how in the dark that I was about it. I was like, I don't know, I guess that fucking octopus is a fucking amoeba. I don't know. So yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised, honestly. I mean, I was a little bummed that there wasn't a giant amoeba in this movie, but I was pleasantly surprised by how different the premise is in a way. Like, obviously there's a lot of stuff in this that is kind of, it's not that unlike what we've seen before in a lot of other sci-fi Toho Honda movies. There's an argument that this movie is like kind of derivative to a fault at certain points, but the things that I think are good about it, that I found compelling, are the things that are very particularly unique about it, which is like the literal space amoeba like possessing people and trying to basically infiltrate the world by, again, possessing people and then making animals big by like possessing them.
Yeah.
Which like, I don't know if the logic totally makes sense there, but I like that. I think that there's a lot more that could have been done with that premise. And that's where some of the, I think, criticisms that I have come from. But I was really enchanted when I realized like, oh shit, it's literally like, it's kind of like a The Thing story in a way, is what's happening here, which I found really fascinating and surprising.
I thought with it being Space Amoeba, there was going to be like the amoeba is presented in this movie is basically when you see the amoeba, it is just early on and it's basically like a galactic dust cloud is the way it's portrayed. And in my mind, I had it like they're gonna have a monster that's like, there's this cartoon that I love called Galaxy High School, and one of the teachers in that cartoon is basically just an amoeba. The like a presentation, it's like an anthropomorphic amoeba. And I imagined there was going to be like a monster that kind of looked like that in my, sci-fi addled mind. So like I was a little disappointed initially until like Gazora appeared, and then I was like, oh yeah, okay,
yeah,
I see what we're in for.
The Amoeba Boys in Powerpuff Girls, like just like literally just like big slime dudes, Yeah. There's if you're a big fan of amoebas, like this movie is not really going to do it for you, unfortunately.
Right. No.
It really is the thing where they just kind of just I wonder, I don't know that the word amoeba was ever spoken in the original script or the original Japanese version. I think that is very much a thing that was grafted onto it after the fact, for the international version, unfortunately. But
yeah.
yeah. The production of this movie was actually kind of fraught in a way, not in the usual ways, but I think the vibe and the context for what's happening around the movie is a little bit interesting. And it's actually, I'm glad that we're doing this one because it's a surprisingly important stepping stone, I think, in Godzilla's history, despite Godzilla not being involved in it, because this is kind of the movie where Honda just kind of like officially, like fully just like fucks off. He does come back for one more movie. But it's not for years after this. So like originally this project started back in like 1966, funny enough. It was originally a movie called Invasion of the Monsters. It was another movie as part of the package deal that Toho had with UPA and Henry Saperstein. So when they were making like Invasion of Astro Monster and Frankenstein versus Baragon and War of the Gargantuas, all those sort of like sci-fi kaiju fusion type things, this was another script that was being written at the time to go along with that. At the time, it was going to be a very large scale kind of world-faring sci-fi epic. So that was kind of the idea. I think in a lot of ways, it was almost going to be kind of like a proto-Destroy All Monsters, just without as many monsters in it,
Yeah.
If you think about it. The original script was written by A. Ogawa. He's a really interesting guy. He's actually a really prolific writer in Japanese television. For example, he wrote throughout the entire run of the 14-year-long detective series called Roar at the Sun, which, why aren't our detective show names that fucking cool? Like, we have like Law and Order and like NCIS. They have Roar at the Sun. Like,
Murder, She Wrote, pretty good.
Okay, that's fair. That's like, yeah, I guess that's fair.
But it's been a while since we've had a good one, I think is maybe still true.
Yeah. I mean, we need a detective show that has an exclamation point in the name is all I'm saying.
Totally.
Ogawa also would, after this movie, would become famous for writing these like 3 vampire films in Japan called The Vampire Doll, Lake of Dracula, and The Evil of Dracula in the 1970s.
Oh my God.
All of those apparently have like a cult following. I'm not familiar with any of them, but people seem to like them. Also, he wrote the action film ESPY, which is about a government-run psychic force pursuing a bunch of evil psychics.
I need to see that.
Right up your alley.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So he's someone who has done quite a lot of stuff both before and after this movie. So it makes sense why he would be someone who would be writing, a major sci-fi film at the time. I think the UPA deal just kind of eventually ends, falls apart, what have you, before this movie ever gets produced. So the script was just kind of on hold. Eventually, Toho decides to revive it. But their thought is that this is 1970 now. They are spending way less on movies than they were in 1966, especially if it's a sci-fi movie or a kaiju movie. So they scale it down. Instead of it being this world-faring epic, it's scaled down to just taking place on one South Seas island, which is how you end up getting this like island movie, just like, the past few Godzilla movies have been. Like the exact same setting, surely using some of the same like sets and props and stuff like that. Exactly like that. And kind of grafting that science fiction space invasion story onto just one singular island.
Yeah.
So there's a few things that are happening around this time. I think I mentioned it, like they're spending less money on these movies now, which we've already talked about in past episodes. That's just sort of naturally happening. There's a few, different handoffs, like Tomoyuki Tanaka is like busy during this time. He's usually the one who's overseeing these types of films. So Fumio Tanaka, who has no relation to Tomoyuki, coincidentally, steps in. And I don't have information on like what Fumio's sort of perspective on this was, but I do know that Tomoyuki Tanaka had said afterwards that he kind of wasn't a huge fan of this movie because he felt like it was too much of a retread of previous ones. So I don't know, maybe throw in your fellow producer under the bus. I don't know. I will say that is a preview of what the vibe is towards this movie from generally everyone, is that a lot of people just aren't a huge fan of this movie, including the people who worked on it.
Interesting.
I do think a big part of that, though, is because the general vibe around the movie was going to be pretty bad because of the death of Eiji Tsuburaya. So he had been, I think he'd been kind of in declining health for a while at this point. He hadn't been totally disconnected from Honda's movies. Like he wasn't on set for the last couple of them, but like, for example, on All Monsters Attack, which was just the year prior to this, like he wasn't doing the special effects, but he would pop into the editing room and give advice and consultation and stuff. He was still involved, but he wasn't working in that original capacity as the special effects director. It wasn't like the dynamic duo of Honda and Tsuburaya for a while. Apparently, Tsuburaya and Honda met up at one point, kind of in late 1969. I think it was Tsuburaya who initiated it, like about wanting to kind of reunite on a project together. And I think both of them were kind of like, we aren't really feeling these kaiju movies anymore. They're not giving us a lot of money for them. We've been doing a lot of them. The scripts have kind of felt repetitive. What if like the two of us collaborated old school like we used to, but specifically working on like a historical drama about Japan's early aviators? Like we know how much Tsuburaya loves his fucking planes. We love how much Honda likes talking about like, historical stuff and war drama, stuff like that. It kind of makes sense for that to be a project. All of this is being pulled from Honda's biography, and the way that they frame it in that is that like this was kind of like a response to creative burnout, was like an exciting new project that was going to feel different than something they'd worked on recently, and could be like a reunion of these two creative collaborators. So I think there's a lot of excitement for that between the two of them. And there's a quote that Honda shares too. I think that it's just sort of like, it feels like the idea is that they're kind of approaching this like it's just the two of them against the world, because Honda shared a quote in the biography saying that one of the last things that Tsuburaya ever said to him was that, quote, "Conditions in the film business are getting harsher and harsher, but let us both do our best." Which,
ooh,
yeah. I think that's just very telling for what the mindset is, that it's just like,
let's make our art.
Yeah, it echoes a lot of, I think, conversations that are happening now, where it's just like, what if we just say fuck it to the corporation and just make our own art our way, like do it whatever we want. Like, I'm sure they would have tried to get Toho funding, but I wouldn't be surprised if they would have tried to pursue some kind of independent funding if they could. I don't who knows.
Yeah.
So there's excitement for that project that they're going to do together, but it's like during those conversations, like shortly after that Tsuburaya was hospitalized with heart problems. I think even during that period, I think both of them were still intending to like work together once Tsuburaya was, has recovered and Honda's, freed up from whatever his current projects are. And there's even a suggestion that, I don't see that this is a confirmed thing, but there's like a rumor that like Tsuburaya was considering even working on Space Amoeba in some sort of supervisor capacity, just like he did in All Monsters Attack. So like fully intending that this was going to be a continued thing, but it wasn't long after his initial hospitalization that he dies of a heart attack. He was only 68 at the time. And what sucks is that his death happens 2 days into the production of Space Amoeba. So I think that gives you an idea of probably what the vibe of the production was. And so Tsuburaya has died, which kind of is going to dash any hopes of Honda ever being able to work with him again. And like, I'm sure that's really depressing to be like, we just almost had this exciting new project that wasn't a kaiju project that we got to do, that we're going to get to do. We can't do that. And right now, currently, I'm stuck on a kaiju project like this.
Yeah.
And so I have to imagine Honda probably doesn't have his heart in this movie with directing this movie.
Yeah.
And there's also another weird thing where I think that there's like the vibes that I've always gotten is there was kind of a weird, I don't want to call it a feud, but like hard feelings between Toho and Tsuburaya because of Tsuburaya starting Tsuburaya Productions, which is not, not a Toho thing. That's his own thing. Right. And he finds a lot of success doing that, producing movies and especially producing the Ultra series with Tsuburaya Productions, so I think Toho's sort of like, you were our guy and now you just like fucked off and did your own thing. Like, come on. So when, this movie is in production, many people on staff understandably are like, let's have a dedication to Tsuburaya in the opening credits. Like, seems perfectly reasonable. And Toho tells them, no, we're not allowing that. You're not allowed to put his name anywhere on this movie.
Which is
that's so shitty.
So cruel. Yeah.
Yeah. It really just goes to show though, too, like it does kind of, like if you're perceived as disloyal, you're basically like cut out in society. And just to kind of go back to your point, like about Honda, like having seen a fair number of his filmography at this point, like the direction on this film feels a lot more like just workmanlike than anything. It doesn't have like it really feels like it's good enough, having that context to what was going on behind the scenes it kind of explains some of the questions I had about like this doesn't, the directing doesn't have the energy that his work usually has.
Yeah. And at the very least, it's not consistent throughout, right?
Yeah.
Like here and there, there's like interesting stuff.
Yeah.
But it's clear that it's not permeating the whole film.
Yeah.
Like those interesting shots or those interesting thoughts aren't there the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think too, like I think the Tsuburaya thing, it just really is just a weird rain cloud over all of this, because there's also a quote in Honda's biography from Fumio Tanaka, who was producing the movie. He said, and I quote, "Tsuburaya had more influence within Toho than Arakawa did. So for this movie, the effects staff were given less time to do their work after Tsuburaya died." I think, so like, for example, Gizora's eyes were supposed to move. They were supposed to have a mechanism where it moves. The mechanism broke during filming. Normally they would stop and repair it, but in this case they just like kept on filming and never repaired it. And it's like a simple thing, but I think that like that was an example that I think that has come up as sort of like Tsuburaya dies, people don't have their heart in it, and I probably another reason that Toho had their like, weird attitude towards Tsuburaya is because they did know that despite him being Tsuburaya Productions, they did still have to depend on him because he was really good at what he did. So he did still have some sway within the company. And so the second that he dies, they're sort of like, oh, you don't have your big shot effects guy to come talk to us. Well, fuck you guys. We're not going to give you any more time. We're going to say no to you if you ask us for more money or time, So,
Good Lord.
Again, it doesn't matter what country you're in or what time period you're in. Corporations always fucking suck at every given time.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So, the budget was really bad. They were rushing through filming it. Toho wasn't giving them any leeway on that. They wanted to film in Guam, but they couldn't, they didn't allow it. So they still just had to film at one of their typical islands in Japan that they tend to film at. It was also filmed in the dead of winter. They filmed it like in January, which all the actors in this movie are like in tropical attire the whole time. So that sucks. And as a result, I think like, it was just not a great time. People just like don't talk about the movie. Like notably, like I think Sadamasa Arakawa, who did the effects of this movie, we've we've talked about him before. He basically is the guy who took over for Tsuburaya in the Godzilla films, like starting back in like Ebirah, but he like would specifically refuse to talk about the movie because he was so mad about how they treated like the Tsuburaya credit and then just the whole experience after it. Honda like just doesn't, Honda just doesn't really talk about it, or at least like doesn't seem enthusiastic about it. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just sort of, it's kind of a bummer. And then I think I have to imagine that this whole experience and the timing of it with Tsuburaya dying is kind of what ultimately pushes Honda to just be like, maybe I don't like working in these like corporate environments anymore for my films. So this does end up being the last Toho sci-fi film made under the traditional studio system. So the original studio system where you have people under these very long-term contracts, right? Where you have these actors where it's like, you are making us like X amount of X number of movies with us for X amount of time, or you're directing X amount of movies with us for X amount of time. This ends up being the last Toho sci-fi film that is under those stipulations, because a lot of the stuff ends up dissolving very shortly after it. Toho starts dissolving a lot of its in-house departments. It starts to shift things to a per project basis very shortly after. It's all just due to money. Obviously, they're not making as much money. The film industry at this point just isn't doing as well as it had been during their big boom and their big economic boom in the 60s, which again is a thing we've talked about on this podcast, that the economic boom in Japan in the 1960s made a huge impact on the success of these movies. But now TV is a thing. The economy isn't as good. People aren't going out to the theaters anymore. It all sounds like really familiar, honestly, to like what we're dealing with now.
Shit don't change.
Right. And also very similar to what we deal with now. The other reason that it benefited Toho as a corporation to not have these long-term contracts and switch to like per project contracts is because it means that like labor unions don't have as much power. You can't really, you can't form a union if you're only working gig to gig, right? Like they could have unions if they were actual, basically permanent employees of Toho. They can't do that now. So that also, benefits Toho in that way. Cause again, corporations are evil no matter where or when they exist. Yeah. And I think all of this, I think Toho's like, this all just seems like it kind of sucks now. I'm not interested. So when his contract is up for renewal, he doesn't renew it. He goes and does other stuff. He starts directing a lot of TV, directs for other studios. Again, foreshadowing it all to hell. He does come back to Toho eventually to direct one more movie. So this isn't the last Honda movie we're going to cover, but it is literally only one more, and it's like 5 years after this before he comes back and does another movie for Toho, which I think just speaks to how bad the whole experience was making this movie and everything around it, which it's just like a real bummer thing. Like this movie, to your point, I don't think it feels like it doesn't feel like the best of the best. It doesn't feel particularly inspired, but it doesn't feel like a fucking dumpster fire either, is the thing. So it's kind of weird watching this.
It's fun to watch.
Right.
There's a lot of really, really fun monster shit in this movie.
Yeah.
Like to just bottom line it. Yeah. Like there's some really, really like
absolutely
fun sequences that I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah. So, but it's just like, it almost makes it weird and surprising that it's just like that much shit turmoil was happening at this time around this fucking movie of all things. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. It's just, it's fascinating. But yeah, well, speaking of the monsters though, they are kind of the stars of the show here. Let's talk about them. So Godzilla, I think it makes sense to start off with him. He's the first dude that we find. Before I even get into it, Doug, I just want to get your impression as an octopus connoisseur. I was very excited for you to meet this guy.
Yeah, I am happy to have met him. Fantastic. It's an amazing design. I'm obsessed with the way that the suit is actually worn and how it actually moves, and the fact that you can, like, all you can see of a human body is just that two of the tentacles are actually legs. So it's just this like big squid costume with like two little legs. It's so good.
Funny.
It's so funny. Its face is incredible. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast proper, but a few months ago or so, I picked up a random movie from the library that was called Monster Seafood Wars. And it's very obvious now that I have seen Space Amoeba that the monsters in that movie are inspired by this movie, or at the very least, one of them is very obviously an homage to Godzilla.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I love it.
I just wrote that down to check out.
Yeah, like the way that they, like even just the way that the costumes are worn, the way that they actually sort of move around, I think it would be impossible to not draw the line between the two. I think these monsters, all three of these monsters are fantastic, but yeah, I mean, Godzilla is everything I want in a monster.
Maybe we do a Patreon episode on Seafood Wars.
Happily.
Sounds fantastic.
Happily. Yeah.
I could not agree more with everything that Doug just said. Godzilla is my new obsession.
It's so good.
He's just lovely. There early on, in this film there's a great like set piece where he's just destroying like this hut, and his big tentacles come in. The tentacles look great, and I'm just like, hold me with those tentacles. I just want to hug Adora. Like I had that. I would not consider myself a monster fucker by any means, but every now and then a monster comes along where I'm just like, I'm broken and you can fix me. I felt that way about Hedorah. I feel that way about like the early freaky forms of Shin Godzilla. And I absolutely feel like every monster in this movie is fire. Let's be perfectly clear about that. But Godzilla is just a amazing design, really fun, really exciting to look at, and like Doug said, the way it moves, like that, there's a person in there, and it's just like it's just so much fun to watch. And like, I know the line is like, oh, it's a mutated cuttlefish. It doesn't look anything like a cuttlefish.
They say cuttlefish, they say octopus.
Yes.
The one thing they don't call it is a squid, and that motherfucker is a squid.
It's a squid.
What are you talking about?
It's an absolute squid. And I'm wondering, is that just a translation problem, or
I don't know, actually. But because its name is like Gezora is coming from Gesso, which means squid legs.
Right.
Like, so I wonder if it was always intended to be a squid. It was just somewhere in the script or in the translation they just started calling it an octopus or cuttlefish.
All the like press notes and things I've seen in the film just refer to it as like a cuttlefish, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I would cuddle with that fish,
right?
Heyo, but I don't think it's a cuttlefish. Yes,
the strength to carry on.
Well, I don't know what the veracity of this is, but for some reason Wikipedia is convinced that it is not just a cuttlefish, but specifically a kiss lip cuttlefish.
I'm here for it, baby.
So it's even better.
Kiss lip cuddle.
A kiss
they
lip
are
cuttlefish.
Telling us what they want us to hear.
Oh, well, that changes everything for me, guys. Like, that's just...
I can't...
Wow.
I'm seeing it now, and I totally can see that. I mean, it's because it's like, it's the same thing that the Reapers in Mass Effect are riffing on too. Like, I totally can see that being what they riffed on.
Can you like when y'all go to edit this during this segment, can you just like lay down like a quiet music bed of "Let's Get It On" in the background?
It's good. It's such a, I think the reason that you see Zora on, all the
it's a lovely design. Like all three of the designs are great, right?
It's
like,
I mean, of the three, it's like the most sort of mascotty, and I don't say that in a bad way. I say that in a good way. It's like a character you can immediately sort of identify and sort of connect with. Very
toyetic too. Like you can see like you look at this guy and you're like plushies and action figures and
Oh yeah,
right. So the suit was made so it can be split into two pieces. There's a top piece that's basically the whole big tall part of the head, and then the bottom piece that's like, basically the eyes, the legs, and the tentacles. I'll send you a picture of it. That's Hiro Nakajima, who's in it, who's obviously we know him as our Godzilla normally.
Yes.
He's the one who's in it, and then when you see him in it, he's like, it's funny. It really is just like a man just standing in basically the majority of Godzorra's body.
Oh.
Like, it's kind of hilarious.
I'm
Oh,
obsessed with
boy.
the fact that the picture you have sent us includes one of the dolls. We will talk so much about the dolls,
Yes.
but I love that there's one in this picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do also love when they make the split suits, because it means we get pictures like this where it is either just a man in the bottom part of a suit or a man in the top part of the suit.
Right.
It's always a delight. So
Yeah, it's so funny.
Perfect.
So good.
So only 2 of the tentacles like are actually being moved by like a puppeteer. Basically, those 2, they just have like piano wire on them and they're moving them, right? That's pretty normal. So Nakajima, in order to make it look like other tentacles were moving, to give the illusion that they're moving, he would basically make sure that he was just shaking his body wherever he walked.
just boogieing around
Just
set,
boogieing around, which I think also just ends up giving Godzilla just like it's just a funny visual of just the way that he moves. I mean, like, it is so stupid and silly that their like octopus squid monster just stands up on hind legs basically and just walks around like a person. It's so fucking funny.
As
it's
it
so
should,
funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
As it should.
If I were in Godzilla, and I mean that in every way, I would move like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I do love that because the legs need to also look like tentacles. The shoe or whatever the foot is in are basically like elf shoes, so that the tentacle like curves
Amazing.
up.
Oh, that's
It's
so funny.
so good.
It's so good. I'm obsessed with this guy.
It's so cool. Obviously, they make like kind of to scale props of the tentacles for when it's going in the house and attacking people and everything. His roars were modified from primate sounds that were used in one episode of Ultra 7. Sure.
Okay.
Sure, of course.
I love that. It's sort of like, what's our squid guy gonna sound like? We'll find like a monkey in an Ultraman episode. Okay.
You know
whatever.
I don't get the noise, but I can't be mad at the noise because it's not the horrible octopus like squishing sound.
Yeah.
From yeah.
I think I normally like slimy monsters. I think it's a good thing they didn't try to make this guy slimy at all. Like, we're just not. They wouldn't have been able to pull that off.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about this guy before we move on?
He's perfect in every way. That's all.
Yes. Yeah. I did like think about like what would he sound like if he talked? And I came to like 2 ways. One, it would be a Cockney accent, or and this is the one I landed on, it would just be like very like, "Hi, I'm Bob." Like I think it would be like that if he like very gentle and
just
misunderstood.
real gentle and sweet. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it makes a lot of sense though, because it's like, obviously he's in a big bulk of the movie, and they play him like he's absolutely terrifying and giving people fucking PTSD and shit. But like, he is genuinely like, even in context, kind of the goofiest one who's just like, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
He's not that formidable, really. The only thing that makes him formidable is that they're just on an island where there's like no weapons there. So like, we don't see him fighting any other monsters, and I don't think he could hold his own if he fought a monster. I think he would just wriggle around and fall over. That's what would happen to
just
him.
ink and then go away.
Right. Okay, Ganimes, the crab. He's also played by Haruo Nakajima. I just want to read this quick quote from Nakajima. He says, "Ganimes was so stiff that I don't think I could act very well, and I mostly only click the claws together. That's why I don't remember much about it." That's all he has to say about him.
Yeah, I mean, there's like no articulation on this dude. It's just a big, flat, hard crab.
Yeah.
I do think of your mileage may vary, but I think of the monsters in the movie, this is the one that like creeped me out the most.
Oh, I think it's the creepiest for sure.
Yeah, I think yes, because they basically like, it's designed by Nobuyuki Yasumaru, who specifically did say that like, yeah, we know that Abira exists. We know that we have a lobster kaiju already.
Yeah.
And he specifically says, and I quote, "I thought I could make it even better." So that's what he does. I think basically his way of doing it is by adding a whole bunch of like servo motors to it. So then there's a shit ton of mouth parts that can be radio controlled. That's pretty much what he does. Because that's what makes this dude so creepy.
Do we think he succeeded at making Ebirah but better?
I don't.
I think because like, Ebirah can fucking move is the thing. And this guy, I think the thing that makes Gimenez work is his face and his fucking moving things on his head. Like whatever those mouth parts are called. All of that shit moving and his eyes moving. That's what's cool about him. I love his head. I love how gross it is when they just shoot his fucking eyes out and stuff. Like, all of that stuff is a winner, but like the entire body, I think you can kind of tell that no one can move in it. Like it looks more like a prop than it does.
In general, it's just too stilted, I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Also, Ebirah has a tail. Always a plus.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's interesting that Yasumaru said was that like he didn't get any concept art for it. They basically were sort of like build a giant crab, and he had to build a giant crab. And I think that maybe that's part of it because at the very least, but I think that maybe that's part of it because it's sort of like, I don't know, if you have the basis of concept art, you're going to get some more. Like, I don't know, you'll have the vision there on paper, right? And that can kind of maybe help. Then you as a designer, I don't know, I'm not a suit designer, but I would imagine you can look at that concept art and that helps you get ideas for how to build a suit in a way that can move. Yeah. Whereas if you're just kind of like being like, I don't know, build a giant fucking crab, man, you're going to build a giant crab. And then it's like, well, hopefully somebody can move in it. Like,
because if you're designing monsters that you know are going to be suits, presumably you are designing them with a human being in mind. And if your only instruction is make a crab, the only thing you have in mind is a crab.
Right. The shell was sculpted in clay and cast while his arms.
That sounds like it would suck.
Well, Nakajima did say that he couldn't fucking move in it. So if it's just
also
in clay,
like heavy clay.
I'm sure it makes I can't comprehend why. I don't. I mean, to be fair, it looks really fucking heavy when you look at it on screen. Yeah. So I guess it worked out that way visually.
I guess
the arms and claws are made out of polyurethane. The spikes are made out of plywood. His eyes are made out of resin. I think that stuff makes sense. Yeah. But this is funny. So normally, they would use goat hair to simulate like hairs. I don't know why goat hair, but that's what they normally use. But Yasumaru was sort of like, what if we use palm fronds instead? Again, I don't quite understand why. I guess maybe they're easier to get than goat hair is. So they add that to them to simulate hair, which sounds cool, except that the fronds are like highly flammable and there's a lot of fire in this movie. So like, I don't think that the suit ever caught on fire necessarily, but they had to be like extra careful of that, which
another reason you might not want to move around a whole lot.
Right.
Good point.
Right. And they used a compressed air cylinder to blow foam out of his mouth, which is a weird power that this guy has to just shoot foam.
Yeah. I also wouldn't say that it was particularly successful.
No. And, I guess this also isn't a surprise. His roar, slightly edited screech of Ebirah. So,
okay.
Yeah. Anything else to say about this guy?
I don't think
guys,
so.
I guess there's two of them technically.
Yeah.
Camebus, Camobius. I've heard people say it 70 different ways, so I don't know how we want to say it. Camebus. I mean,
Camebus. I would think Camebus, right? It's basically spelled the same way as amoeba.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That didn't even occur to me, Doug. You're right. It's amoebas with a K on it.
I mean, it's probably, in the same way I typically say Abira.
I know you threw me off there. I was saying, and now I'm saying Ebirah, and it feels weird, but it's right. That's like the correct way to say it.
Right. I'm getting used to it.
Yeah. Okay. He's our turtle guy, though.
Turtle guy.
Yes. I do love him quite a lot.
His little headbutt is the best.
It's so cool.
He's delightful. The final battle. Spoiler alert, involves Camebus, and it's something. It is it's definitely a scene in a film. But no, this is a really cool creature. My second favorite. Again, maybe not so much creepy as goofy.
The fucking head, man, it's so silly.
The head,
it's so silly.
Like the little headbutt is just like. It delights me, and it kind of is like why I love these movies so much, is like just the is just the sheer goofiness of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so goofy. He's so silly. Yeah.
Yeah, the way its head moves and the way his neck extends and stuff is like, it's goofy, but it's goofy in the exact same way when you see a turtle or a tortoise like fully extend its neck out, and you're like, holy shit, where are we gonna keep all that, you know?
Yeah.
Also, I haven't mentioned Pokemon in a while on this podcast. The very first thing I thought of is a Pokemon called Dreadnought, and I know that both of them are just referencing snapping turtles, but the very first thing I thought of was like, oh, because I'm so Pokemon brain poisoned, I was like, oh, that's what Dreadnought's based on. And then I was like, oh, that's right, snapping turtles just exist in a
That's
real
just
world.
a real animal that exists. Yeah.
Right.
That's so funny. Yeah. Although, you know what's funny? Okay, so you know how you see like a real turtle in this movie at one point that like they're, you know, and then they foreshadow that it'll become a monster later. So that turtle was just like a Japanese pond turtle that they put prosthetic thorns on its shell. Yeah.
That's the cutest thing ever.
Yeah,
we're gonna make you a little scary.
Yeah.
I like to think too, because turtles are so long lived, that guy's out there still. He's just out there
I hope
somewhere.
so.
I would love that. Maybe he's still got the thorns on him.
Yeah, because turtles can
great.
just live for, like, is it like 150 years or longer?
It depends on the turtle.
Yeah.
Like some of them, not all of them. I don't think your average pond turtle does, but like some of those
big ass
the
tortoises.
Galapagos
My
ones,
headcanon is that guy is still alive out there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I love it. Yeah.
I want to see him at G-Fest pawing autographs. Like, I think that would be great.
Fucking love that. I mean, to be fair, someone could just bring in any turtle and just be like, "This is the one. It's still alive, by the way." Like, you don't know. Can you prove it?
What a weird flex that would be. Like, that is some Chris Cummins level like psychosis right there. Like that absolutely. That's like my Double Dare bit. For those of you at home, I regularly tell people I was on Double Dare. I was never on Double Dare, and I just like it's just.
There are people who still think that that's true.
Oh yeah, it's a fun bit
right?
of a fun little bit of lore that I drop like from now and then, and I don't know why I do it other than like I'm a sociopath, but yeah. But I would like.
I mean, for a long time, it would have been extremely hard to prove you wrong.
Oh yeah,
Right.
oh absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I rode the crest of that on the '90s, man. It was great. But yeah, so I like the flex of someone being like, oh yeah, this is the actual turtle that was utilized in Space Amoebas, and be like, oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Like,
If I were even distantly related to anyone on the production of this movie, I would 100% do that.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
Even the tiniest bit of credibility, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. Incredible.
It's like, it's such a plausible lie that it would be.
Right.
We're learning a lot about me here on the Screon tonight, as we always do.
On your 7th appearance after having been on multiple
Yes,
episodes of
yes,
this podcast.
yes.
Yeah. This you'll enjoy this, Chris, actually. So the actor who portrays Kamibas is Haruyoshi Nakamura. So we've not encountered him yet on this podcast. He's played a bunch of monsters in the Ultra series. Most famously, he originated the role of the famous Ultra series monster Canagon from Ultra Q. That's the big yellow, or the yellow big mouth guy.
Yes.
But also
Say
he played Busca in the Kaiju Busca series. The cute yellow polka dot kaiju.
Love him.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Pigmon.
It's not Pigmon.
I
you know what? I hyped it up.
That's one of the few that I knew, and I was like, I bet it's Pigmon.
I realized as I started saying it, I was sort of like, oh, fuck, I've just thrown you in the wrong direction because we're going to get way more
Paragon
excited.
and
Busca is pretty great.
I love that. Like, look,
Yeah.
it's hard pressed to find like an Ultra Q or early Ultraman monster that I don't just love. So
I mean, I do also recognize Canagon, so that's also a big one.
He's a pretty famous one.
I say that because I don't really watch Ultraman, so that's the metric for anyone who doesn't realize why I'm saying that.
Yeah. This is for us, Doug. He was also one of the Batmen in Latitude Zero. So.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Gay icon.
Yeah. If you haven't listened to our Patreon episode on Latitude Zero, you should. It is. We have such a fun. That was so fun to record. That movie's bananas in the best way. I fucking love it so much. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Some things about Kamibas. Let's see. There was an opening in the abdomen of the suit, so the actor would actually enter it from the bottom, which is very unique. So Kamibas is bottom confirmed. his hind legs are designed so basically Nakamura's knees were aligned with the suit's knees, so he actually could perform a little more naturally in the suit with that, which is like unusual because a lot of times, you know, Anguirus, for example, has to just like basically crawl like a toddler half the time, which is annoying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. This is another one where they made it from clay using a plaster mold.
Oh no!
So yeah, it looks
what
fucking
are they
heavy.
Doing?
I don't know. The spikes were arranged in a clockwise pattern, just like they did with Anguirus when they remade the suit for Destroy All Monsters, and that was also modeled by Yasumaru. And the way we talk about his head extending, which is just so funny, it extends like you know what I was thinking of the whole time I was watching it? It's like a hungry hippo. Like it extends like a hungry hippo.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah,
or one of those like toy
out.
grabbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes, exactly. They used, again, compressed air cylinders that would just pop it out. But apparently Nakamura, Nakamura wasn't the one controlling that. Other puppeteers were doing it. So, like, he would just hear this loud popping sound whenever he's in the suit, and said that it would, like, startle him every single time.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised. I don't understand where his head is in this suit. Like, do you know where his head goes?
I'm not sure, and I don't think any of the pictures that I was seeing on Wikizilla were showing that, but I don't, I'm sure there are more behind the scenes pictures than what Wikizilla has.
It seems like it would be so uncomfortable, and not just like Ganymedes where it's like hard to move in. This one, sometimes I think about being in these suits and I'm like, oh, I could never do that. I would freak out. I would like lose my mind in there and I would scream, get me out. This suit, I think, is the worst one I've seen. Like, I can't... Being in this suit seems like it would be actual torture. Like, you're in such a weird position, and you're in such a heavy thing that's specifically, like, on top of you. It just seems awful. It seems awful.
And hearing about, like, basically the pistons going to extend the neck, I imagine there being like air blowback that's kind of like when you go to an ophthalmologist and they blow the air into your eyes.
The glaucoma test.
Yeah, like I
hate those. I fail
and
them
you're hearing
every time.
Sounds like that is some sort
that sounds
of
horrible.
Yeah, I think
it's like psychological torture.
Yes.
Like
like
it'd be terrible.
But you know what? I would still take the job anyway.
It would be. I mean, look.
I would try. I probably wouldn't make it a day, but I would try.
Just leave screaming and in shock.
I did 20 minutes in an inflatable T-Rex costume at Dragon Con one year, and I was ready to die. So I can't imagine what being in like a clay-coated suit with pistons, would be like. Oof.
I think what I'm realizing is like the fact that you have to rely on other people to get out of these suits, I think is something I just personally would not be able to handle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is just a random thing. I don't know where this information comes from. It was on Wikizilla, but I thought it was really funny because I'm like, what were they going to use that for? They made props that they didn't end up using in the movie that were apparently little versions of Cumibus that had springs in their hands and feet. Oh, what the were they going to have them like hopping around or something?
Oh my God.
He jump? He jump?
Maybe.
I want to see like Cumibus baby. I want to see that now,
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so funny.
Did they do baby versions of the other characters? Please tell me they did.
Not that I saw. That was the only one that I saw that note for. So
I need like so many things, I need to know where they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Where did they go?
Baby Godzilla is currently in my heart and in my mind. I will be thinking of Baby Godzilla later.
Anything else about these monsters before we move on to the people?
I don't think
we can talk
so.
about like the actual fight, at the end of the movie later. But
I do think despite them seeming, I'm obviously being really difficult to move in and not necessarily being able to do as much as a result of that, I do think all three of these designs are very, very cool. And I was very surprised to go into this movie not expecting any suits to get three monsters I've never seen before, and that all three of them are very cool. So just a general like pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're a fun collection, and the idea of sea creatures being turned into kaiju, like I think is a really fun idea that this movie has. I like the idea of a thematic collection of kaiju. I think that's really cool.
I really appreciate the fact that like I came to this movie basically because the Criterion Channel had grouped it with two eras of Godzilla films as well as like a bunch of Honda's films
Hmm.
because like although it's not like officially, Godzilla, but it's clearly set in the same universe and I liked being the blindness of going into this movie and just
Hmm.
being delighted by the monsters, and like they are so charming. There's such a
Hmm.
charm to each of them that
Hmm.
I think it deserves to be discussed in the same kind of, which obviously we're doing right now. But I
Yeah.
think anytime there are monsters of this quality, like I think they deserve to be kind of not forgotten. And I get the impression that this, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that this is really kind of a forgotten film.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that anything's forgotten now at
Yeah,
this point, but it's one that I think for a long time wasn't really talked about, and I think the general vibe from people that I have gotten going into this
yeah.
are sort of like, oh, that movie, okay, I guess I saw it. Like people just don't really, nobody's like passionate about this movie, and so I think as a result, it just doesn't get talked about very much.
Yeah.
Ergo, people aren't flocking to like finding this like hidden gem or anything like that. So yeah, I guess like forgotten in the sense that like a lot of people probably just aren't seeking it out.
Yeah, like because to me I see this and the other Honda movies that are on the Criterion Channel and I'm like, are they going to be working on a box set and put these all out? Because I would
I
love
love that
that.
idea.
Like I
I love
would,
that idea.
like
That'd be good.
yeah, that would
Yeah.
be, that would be very cool and probably a
Mm-hmm.
pretty good moneymaker for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
That'd
But
be
yeah.
nice. Derek, you say
Yeah.
no one's passionate about this movie, and I get why, but I need to say, as we move into the cast, I am passionate about one very specific thing and person, and I will continue to be so passionate about
Oh,
this.
wait.
You probably wouldn't start with him, but we must start with Kenji Sahara being
Oh,
an
yeah.
absolute fucking freak in
I
this movie.
love when
And
he's
I
allowed
know
to just be unleashed. It makes me so
I
happy.
know it's all he wants. He's talked about it before. Like he just wants to be a weirdo and a bad guy. And like Kenji Sahara, we've now seen him like 1,000 times, and so many times he is just wearing his own face and just being his own handsome self and kind of just slight iterations. I know most people were like not in a good place when they were making this movie, and you're not getting the most enthusiastic version of like anyone. But Kenji Sahara had a chance and he had a moment, and rent was due, and I'm obsessed with it. I
He's
love
like,
him in this movie.
I'm growing out my facial hair. Is it going to look good? Not really. Is it going
Not
to work
really,
for my
but also
character?
it's there.
Yeah.
Right, it's there, so I'm thrilled. I love his stupid little mustache so much. It's amazing. And I know it's all it's all fake, but I love it anyway. And if he
Yeah.
wants to just glue that on permanently, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah. 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 Yep.
He's so
Yep.
good, Derek. He's
great.
so good in this movie. Chris, I've said it before. Like, you just have to let this man be so weird,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
So he plays Makoto Obata, who is like well, how would you define this archetype where it's like they're the kind of like basically like villainous character who actually isn't really a villain and then has their sort of redemption at the end because there's a more evil villain that exists, right? Like he's kind of like calling him villainous isn't even like right because he's just sort of like
He's sort of like the real world bad guy in a movie with like supervillains, where you're sort of like, oh, you're like not a great guy, but
Yeah.
also there are people trying to destroy the world. So
Yeah.
like the guy you have to like they have to like kind of begrudgingly work with, and then eventually he gets possessed and he gets to have his own little hero arc by the end of it.
no, he gets to be a freak two ways. It's amazing.
So true. He's like already a fucking weirdo before he even gets possessed by an alien.
Oh, it's so good.
He's
He's so good.
his I don't know if we want to talk about this early, but when he has his hero turn,
Sure.
when he is encouraged to find his humanity again and release the bats. And it is such he makes a lot of bizarre choices that are like subtle.
Yeah.
Like he's like a twitch. And it's very fun to watch, especially because the human characters in this movie are not the most dynamic,
Right.
to be
He's
kind.
the one person who's like given. I don't know if he was written to be as weird as Kenji Sahara is playing him. It totally might not have been the case because we know he wants to do this. But like, he's the one person who like makes a meal of his role in an otherwise like unremarkable human side of the story.
Yeah.
I thought I thought what is, ostensibly our main character, the kind of world-weary photographer Kudo, like he begin when the movie begins, the first time you see him, he's kind of like a failed photographer, and you feel like he's got this kind of like, oh, what's it all mean kind of ennui about him that reminded me of, weirdly enough, Charlton Heston at the start of Planet of the Apes.
Oh, interesting.
And they don't, and that may just be because the space capsule and everything, but
Sure.
like, they don't really do much with that character trait.
Yeah.
And I really, really was like, oh, this guy's going to be really complex and really, like, kind of a fraud, but also super talented, but just totally, like, beaten down by the world. And, like, he was, like, I got the impression, this is all, like, headcanon in the first 5 minutes, that he was, like, a formerly really super successful photographer who, like, kind of hit hard times and everything. And I'm creating all this backstory that then when he shows up and he gets into it, it's just like, there's not much happening here, to the point where, spoiler alert, he doesn't even have his damn camera at the end to, like, capture the fight scene, which is just, like, played off as a womp womp joke. And,
Yeah. I think that honestly, he might be one of my biggest disappointments in this movie, because the opening scene with him,
there's so much potential.
I really like because he has that line where he's sort of like, I wish I could go to space. Oh,
Yeah.
Earth is so boring.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then of course that's immediately answered by like, oh no, there's a space probe in the ocean. Well, cool.
Right.
I've got my answer. Like, it's just, I don't know. There's stuff that you could have done with him being like, like you said, very world weary, but also like not really that good at his job. But
and
like,
also like this dreamer aspect, and he also has the outcast aspect, because no one like believes him at first that he saw the capsule coming down. So there's all this potential in the first 5 minutes of the movie that then the movie
it's very
does
like
not...
anti-corporate. It's sort of like, I don't want to take your dumb pictures. I want to take like artful pictures and
it goes
pictures
nowhere.
Of real
it
events.
Just
and stuff.
goes nowhere. It's just like, okay, this is this guy's character, and it's like, okay, but there could have been so much more to that. And I feel that's a problem with the characters across the board.
Yeah, it's frustrating because, well, one, it's frustrating because Akira Kubo is a good actor and is like
and
in this
yet,
sort of like lead role often. It's
I was
kind
excited
of like,
to see him again in this, because it's sort of like, like Destroy All Monsters, for example. I love that movie, and like he has fun in it, but like there's no room for characterization in it. This movie, I'm sorry, there was plenty of room to explore characters in this movie.
For all the characters.
Really could have.
The moment I saw that he was allowed to be scruffy in this movie, I was like, yes, this is the moment. Yeah. This is where he gets to shine.
Those sideburns, then again, another instance of a little weird facial hair, but sure, I'll take it.
Love it. I'm here for it. Particularly because Akira Kubo is like usually sort of this boyish, handsome, sort of like lead guy. Like if Kenji Sahara is not being your boyishly handsome lead guy, then it's probably this guy at this point in history. Like those two kind of, end up in similar positions. It's a bummer because he's a good actor, but it's also a bummer because like, I think Kenji Sahara's character is the only one that you really can take and run with. Yeah. Like, what is Akira Kubo supposed to do as the protagonist who's supposed to be kind of straightforward? Like, he can't cartoonize his position in this movie, and that's most people. Like, if you're not already written to be sort of a cartoon character, I don't really know what you're supposed to do with the story they've given you. It's a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a real bummer. Yeah. This is just a random fun fact about him. Nakajima was his underwater stunt double, funny enough. So like when his character is underwater, they're like, oh, you like being in like suits in like claustrophobic environments? Go underwater, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
I hope he got hazard pay. Like, yeah.
Sure. Nakajima's just the guy they just throw underwater whenever they need someone to be underwater at this point.
Right. I would love for these people to know that hazard pay exists in the future.
Yeah. Oh, you got set on fire? Well, good. You're good to go underwater right now.
Thanks
so.
for doing a good job.
Oh my
Pat
God.
on the back.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. I was like, oh, interesting. She's truly
Yeah,
doing double
that
duty
tracks.
in this movie.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Speaking of like paper thin characters, our ostensible female lead, who I like
Oh my
continually
God.
forget exists. The character's Ayako. She's played by Atsuko Takahashi, who is one of the key locks in Destroy Monster, but like not really much else. I wish I could say anything about her in this movie, but why? Like, literally just there to be a pretty face. Unfortunately, I hate saying that. And we feel like we have to
she
say it a lot
is.
for these movies, but like, even
she's
more
given
so than other
nothing.
ones. She's given nothing. Anything that she maybe could have done, they introduce another pretty girl who's a native of the island, who then gets to do more than she does ultimately. So like,
Right. Right. Which is also weird because like so many of these movies of this particular point in time that are all existing on an island have that character. They've done that character. So they put in a female lead that's not that character and then basically overshadow her with a character we've seen several times now and not and every time we see it, it's not better. Like I don't know. It's both of these female characters. I mean, more so the sort of primary female character or the ostensibly lead female character. But neither one of them is given much to work with. Yeah.
The other one, the native of the island, is Saki, who's played by Yukiko Kobayashi, who was in Destroy All Monster, was the female lead Kyoko in that movie. She did get plenty more to do in that one because she got to be possessed for a while. So she gets to be in another movie about possessions, but doesn't get to be possessed in this one.
You know what? I lied. Kenji Sahara isn't the only one who finds their moment because she does get to like cry and like scream and wail. And like, that's the one, she saw it. She said, this is the one thing I get to do and I'm going to fucking do it.
That's
so
her Oscar clip in this
props
movie.
to her. Exactly. So I'll give her that as well. I mean, obviously that doesn't change the story they wrote for her, but she found it.
She just really was. I love that it's a movie about like alien possession on like in a remote island, and her story is still like, but I really want to get married. Like,
oh my God. Yeah. I
it went all the way around into like iconic. It's so stupid, but iconic.
I know that my beau has like severe PTSD, is literally in shock, like can't even say words, like can barely walk, and just only like wide-eyed and things in terror.
We're supposed to have a wedding.
We have to have a wedding. Let's have a wedding. I want my cake.
I got a very like Charlotte from Sex and the City vibe from her. Just she's totally when I watched this the first time, I was like, "Oh, we're really doing this, okay?
We're really
All
doing
right.
this,
sure."
Amazing.
The guy is truly not
Amazing.
recovered from his severe.
He's not there.
shock.
The man is not there mentally at all, and just like
Like, fully like disassociated. Like it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah.
just like,
It's great.
Maybe the wedding will bring him out of his shell. Like, yeah, wedding's a famously like unstressful event.
Yeah.
Like for
Oh,
many
yeah.
people involved.
Yeah.
While monster attacks are happening and there's a fucking alien on the island. Yeah, sure, okay. This is what we're doing.
Everyone's going to remember their wedding, That's for sure. It does, for me, totally go like full circle into iconic, so I wouldn't
hilarious.
actually change it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
how cool would it be if this movie, wanted to be a better movie, and it turned out that like that was an opportunity for them to sort of like subvert something, right? Because they meet her, I guess, husband earlier in the movie, and he serves a role, but then because he has this encounter, he is kind of rendered like
Catatonic, pretty much.
But yeah, catatonic is a better way to put it. Like for a big chunk, and then she swoops in. And how cool would it have been to sort of write their story together and build up that this guy is going to be sort of your like guide through the island, or sort of your connection to the people or culture or knowledge or whatever, and then she has to sort of pick that up. That could have been really, really cool and sort of an unexpected turn of events.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm here for the wedding, so let's not change a thing.
Wedding is very funny.
I wish
You're
we got
coming to
see,
my wedding, aren't you?
like what destination wedding nightmare. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Yeah, none of them actually live there. This was just the destination for the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's
And
funny.
like there is a part of me that very much now I'm just thinking about Gazora in a tux. So I'm just gonna, like
Oh, yes, that'd be
that would
great.
be
I need-
if anyone out there could draw a picture of Gazora in a tux and just send it to me on Blue Sky. I'm at Sci-Fi Explosion. I'll
I need the
repost
fan
it.
art
Thank you.
of the whole wedding
Yeah.
party of the kaiju
Oh
in
my
this
God.
movie.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that would be so
Yeah.
incredible.
Love it. I truly did not recognize him. Yoshio Tsuchiya is the doctor in this movie, Dr. Miya. And Tsuchiya, like, obviously has been in a ton of Honda movies, like Invasion of Astro Monster, for example. I can't say he gets a ton to do other than just being the doctor who says the doctor things and just kind of pulls out of his ass like, I think that there's some sort of space amoeba that's doing this.
Well,
I don't know how the fuck he came to that conclusion in this
It's
movie.
so
but sure.
weird. It's so weird because like there is a moment early on where Ayako is like, hey, it feels like there's something you're not telling us. And so they sort of build it like he knows something is going on or there's a bigger picture that's been, kept a secret and there's this conspiracy or whatever. It doesn't really go there.
Yeah.
Nope.
He seems to figure it out and they don't explain why he's able to figure it out. So it just feels like
truly
nothing.
It's based on the evidence that he has are animals are big and there is a crashed like space satellite capsule thing, whatever that was.
It's weird though.
That's
It's
it.
so
That's
easy.
it. That's the only evidence.
It's so you're already hinting at the fact that he's not telling you something.
Yeah.
So why isn't that just what you ran with?
Yeah.
So weird.
It's weird. It's
yeah, and
weird.
then he just ends up not really doing anything other than like being around to, like you said, say the doctor things.
Yeah.
Like I was wondering if they were going to do the thing where like the Doctor and Obata were like in cahoots with each other,
Sure,
Oh, that
that
could
could
be
be
fun.
interesting.
That would
like
be
that
really
would
fun.
have been, like I felt like that was being played with a tiny little bit, but then I was also like, Chris, this is not the movie we're watching. Like
Right.
it just
Yeah.
doesn't want to do it is kind of a lazy script. It is kind of a just very like these characters are archetypes and we're going to do this with it. And it didn't begin that way and it seems like, when they get to the island there's going to be some more like interesting things happen. They don't do anything with the fact that like these space amoeba basically like hijack the capsule and then they're in space with it for like what is it 4 months before
Something
they
like that.
they
Like, what were they
redirect it to
doing with
Earth.
it?
And like what was happening during that time and why do you deliberately state it's been I think he says in the first scene it's been like 4 months since the capsule went missing.
Yeah.
And it's like, so what are you doing with that last time? So that felt like a plot element that was like, cut out because then like it just comes to Earth and then the amoeba, like, I guess they were learning about the oceans and the creatures that live there. I have no idea. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really
it's-
unclear.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's a very, very like dashed off script.
Yeah, it's a
And-
script that has no interest in like pulling one over on you or
Yeah.
like surprising you in a big way because there's lots of opportunities for them to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like, and all the pieces are there for them to do it. But the fact that they don't, I think, says everything about what they were trying or not trying to do.
I just feel like there's just a lot of like, yeah, this could be more interesting, but let's just get it done with. And
Right.
and understanding
lazy,
the
yeah.
real world production issues there,
Right.
that kind of makes sense. And I guess, I guess we should be satisfied with this movie being as entertaining as it ultimately is, given the thin script.
Yeah, it still ends up being fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is a movie that I think I don't say this for a lot of Godzilla movies, but it's one that I wouldn't mind seeing like remade because I think
Yeah.
that the kernel of an idea, because again, I think that the idea of like basically in a way kind of doing the thing, but like on a tropical
Yeah.
island
Oh, yeah.
is a fun idea. Like basically, you basically had this sort of small group of people that are like, I know that originally this movie was meant to be a world faring thing.
Right.
I think that would have been too derivative. I actually think a thing that makes this movie feel really unique is that it's like the beginning of an alien invasion and your sort of frontline force is like like a ragtag group of like people who basically crashed on an island, and then a bunch of like, you know, native islanders fending off this like alien threat before it becomes too big, right? Like, and it's one that can possess people's bodies, and the thing that would make it feel very different from the thing is that it can also make animals grow big.
Right.
Like, I think that that's really cool, and they simply just don't do enough with that stuff. Like, I know that there's budget constraints with like the kaiju stuff. I think the 3 that we got is enough. I'm shocked that the alien didn't possess more people. Like, they could have had more fun with that.
Yeah.
And it takes such a long...
But it doesn't pass from person to person.
It takes such a long time. I think it's a huge mistake of this movie that it's not a long movie, and yet it feels like it takes a really long time for the amoeba announces himself. I think that should have, like, I think they maybe wanted that to be a big reveal.
Yeah.
I don't think it works as a reveal. That should have been a thing that happens earlier. And now there's a paranoia thing happening where it's like, who is possessed? Which one of us is going to catch it? How is it spreading from one person to another? Like, the fact that it is like this possessive, like, microbiotic force or whatever that also has a voice and is like talking to people and like doing its villain monologues, like all of that shit is really cool, and it feels like it was just like the least possible version of it that they're deploying, which is a big bummer.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I just say, this is just because I was mentioning like the voice of the space amoeba. Normally, you know, what probably wouldn't be much to shake anything at. What probably wouldn't be much to like spend any time on. But I was just curious and like looked up who the voice actor of the space amoeba was. He's a really fucking interesting guy, like kind of genuinely like a secret Japanese pop culture legend. This is also one that I think you're gonna get a lot of joy out of, Chris. So this guy's name is Ichiro Murakoshi. So he has a voice actor. He's worked exclusively with a voice actor. He has done voices in various anime shows, including the 70s Doraemon anime.
Yeah.
The Ogon Bat anime, aka Golden Bat.
Oh, shit.
Space Battleship Yamato.
Oh, my God.
He's done voices in anime films, including Lupin the Third and the Bubblegum Crisis sequel OVA Bubblegum Crash.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
He's done monster voices in the original Kamen Rider, Sky Rider, and Kamen Rider Super 1.
Love this.
He's the narrator of various Toku series, including the popular Inazu Man and the Sentai series Bioman.
Oh, shit.
And he did Japanese dubbing of various English films, which included Goldfinger, and he voiced Marcus Brody in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh, I love this.
What a fucking cool guy.
That's such a
cool
career.
Fucking cool guy. What a cool career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Is he still with us there?
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Let me double check, though. No, he died in 2007.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a great career, though. Wow.
Right?
Wow.
I mean, I wish that he got more, because I mean, he's just doing a typical villain voice in this. Like, I don't know that he's doing anything spectacular, but like, again, do you have your fucking like alien possession thing like that could be talking to people like in their heads and stuff like that? Like, there's a little bit of that in this movie. There could have been so much more of it. It would have been so fun.
Talking to them in their heads, but also when he gets to possess, or when it gets to possess a human body, it then gets to speak aloud, right? So like, you also hear the voice through whoever he's possessing, and that would have been so much fun to hear the same voice coming out of different characters in the movie. That would have been so fun.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's a shame it's such a missed opportunity.
I know. There's a couple of random people that I wanted to throw out that I think are just kind of fun in this movie. I know your guy. You can list them, Doug. I know exactly what you're going to say.
I got 2 guys in this one, and I didn't realize it right away because one of them is basically unrecognizable. So Yu Fujiki is in this one. Not very much. I just like him. He was the first thing we saw him in, I think, was King Kong.
In Mothra vs. Godzilla.
Egg guy. Egg guy in Mothra vs. Godzilla. Yu Fujiki. Love him. But Tetsu Nakamura is in this movie because, of course, he has to be in non-Godzilla Ishiro Honda movies, and this is a non-Godzilla Ishiro Honda movie. And he's the elder, and he's unrecognizable in this movie.
Yeah.
It's
wild.
You cannot tell it's him. It's incredible.
Yeah. If
Captain in Atragon, by the way, he doesn't normally have like big roles, but that was like the big one we've seen.
Captain Atragon, we've talked about him in Latitude Zero and Last Dinosaur on Patreon as well, because he does have like significant roles in both of those movies too. So no, very funny. Those are exactly the 2 people that I was going to list. So I knew it.
My guys.
Yes. that's all I got for people. We can go wherever we want for this movie. I will say right off the bat, starting from the very beginning, the jaunty tune that starts playing at the very beginning, I found very, very funny.
Okay, so this is a thing that people who are listening would not know, because I'm sure it will be edited out, because I fucked up the intro of this podcast. Yeah. But when Derek was originally doing the intro and saying sort of production credits at the top, I reacted in a big way, and he was like, "What's wrong?" Nothing was wrong, but when you said that Ifukube did this music, I was like shocked. Not because it's like bad or anything, but it's just so different than anything I feel like we've kind of heard in several moments.
Some of it's different, some of it's not. I mean, because there's even like the Islander tune is literally just like the King Kong versus Godzilla music played
That's
together.
fair. That's fair.
Like, there are some bits, but I think it's a mixture. There's some bits that feel different.
But it's kind of a weird score, right? I'm not like making that up. The fact that I even noticed it, I feel like
the opening synth bit is wild. Like
the opening, yeah, I think there's like
it's
weird,
really strange, and I like it a lot.
Oh yeah,
the opening felt very Ultraman to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like the opening tune followed by just like the sort of close-ups of the monster fights with the titles felt very sort of Ultraman-y in a way. I guess maybe not, because Ultraman has like the silhouette stuff. I don't know what I'm thinking of. It feels like a Tokusatsu TV show, I guess is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really valid comparison. Like I got that sense too, because it's just like, and also like it's a great way to just show the monsters right away, because otherwise I think like by the time you see the first monster's like what 25 minutes in, so it's a good way to kind of be like, hey, we got cool monsters coming your way, stay tuned, because it's not like the plot is exactly captivating. Yeah,
I don't know, but I agree with you, Doug. It is like I think that there's times when the score to me sounds very Ifukube, but there's also times when it just doesn't, and I don't really know. I don't have any information on what his thoughts were doing this movie, so who knows?
It's
I
strange.
would like to know if he wanted to experiment more and kind of got shut down, or
Yeah,
it would be fun to know the story of this, because I wouldn't even say that I got like a specific, like distinct vibe from this. Like I wouldn't even know how to describe what the musical vibe of this movie is, because there's so many different kind of things going on. None of them bad, but it's not like it has a really super distinct, like clear thing. So I would love to know. Yeah, I would love to know what he was doing, or how these pieces ended up.
But like
here.
no one talks about this movie. I think it's part of the problem. Like I mean, I'm even looking up to see if there's anything I missed, and like there's not. I don't know. I'm not coming across anything. I think probably it's just sort of like, all right, I did it and I'm done. Moving on to the next project.
Yeah, totally.
One of the other things I think is sort of interesting is like there is a little bit of like historical / kind of political context to this movie, like barely like the barest minimum of it. But for one, apparently it was a controversial thing at the time that like there were these multi-million-dollar vacation resorts being built by Japanese developers in places like Hawaii and Fiji and other territories in the 1960s. So I don't have anything more to say about that other than that was just a thing that was happening. So like when they are talking about this in this movie, that they're like going to build this big resort on this remote island that is like rumored to have monsters on it, that is like kind of based in reality in a way.
Yeah.
God, there are so many cool directions you could go just based on that. And it's in the movie and I forgot.
It's abandoned.
It's like not... It like doesn't matter that much, right? And it's frustrating because like, okay, imagine Ishiro Honda at his like absolute, and I get it, like, context, we totally understand why. But imagine Ishiro Honda at his best though, writing this movie that is like critical of something that is happening, which is these big, fancy, expensive resorts for sort of like the elites. That also happens to be a movie about a fucking alien amoeba invasion. Yeah. That like there's so many things you can do with that.
Like it reminds me of like, I don't know if either of you've seen Evil Does Not Exist, but it really touches upon like development in like. So I'm thinking of like Evil Does Not Exist meets like what this story does, and you could do a thing about like the subtle and devastating ways that like development and greed that leads into development affects a small community, but on top of it to have like that the fucking weirdo monster angle too, and like what like a classic of like 1970s could be with like a touch of like Prophecy, like the movie Prophecy
Right.
with the mutated giant bear thrown in, like, like all of those
Yeah.
things like stirred together in a pot. If Honda was at his best, like that really could have been something really fascinating. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the other element to it that I'm sure you probably forgot because it's like tossed off and then never addressed ever again. Like when they get to the island, they say a couple of times that this was an island that like Japan occupied during the last World War. And that's how they explain how the natives like know Japanese because they learned it during the occupation. But and then also they'll like randomly find these like weapons like miniguns and canisters
God,
and
yeah.
and shit. And so there's also this idea of like the remnants of war that are now left behind, that have just been left behind on this fucking island, So you have the idea of like an urban modern civilization kind of invading, a remote civilization that like doesn't really want them there, invading and like being occupied during war and now being occupied through like corporate real estate, and you have an alien invasion at the same time. All of those threads make so much sense together and are such a fucking cool idea for a story.
And there is still something there, because even though it's not maximizing all those elements, it hit me when you were saying that, Derek, that like, yeah, they find all these remnants of war and they try to utilize them to solve the problem, but ultimately none of that shit works. What works is like what's already there on the island. What's there is nature and the bats and like
fuck yeah,
the
you're so
actual
right.
like
Yeah.
natural
Oh my God.
inhabitants of this environment are what allows the environment to sort of like correct itself. Everything
is this movie
they
like
try,
secretly like really good?
I think this movie could have been good. I think this movie could have said a lot and had like a really, really big impact. And I think what we're seeing is like the pieces are there. Like there's a residue of that movie still kind of here. But because none of the elements are maximized, like you don't necessarily feel those things when you're watching it. So like the fact that we get to sit down and talk about it for 2 hours means we're going to land on those things. But when you just sit there and watch it and you're sort of like, that was fine. I wouldn't have picked up on it if we weren't having this conversation, but I guess there is still kind of like a whisper of this movie saying something in there.
Just further illustrate to back up what Derek said earlier, that like a remake would actually be really interesting.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff is like stuff that like still applies today. Like,
hell yeah.
Like it's all I mean, and there's already been grappling, obviously, with the aftermath of war and like colonization and occupation and things like that. Like we know that these are people who have made movies, who can make movies that tackle that stuff, even through a sci-fi lens. So like I don't blame any of the creators in this. They were under really terrible constraints during a terrible time.
Right.
I blame Toho for not giving them the space and time to properly develop this, rushing them through it. And they probably should have just, when Super Aya died, they probably should have just been like, take a beat, guys. We'll revisit this later. This already was a script that was like 5 years old at this point anyway. So like, why not wait a little longer?
Yeah.
Corporations are evil. Wow. God damn. Let me see like Matter though, because it's like this movie is almost really fucking good.
Yeah.
Anyway, for what we did get.
Yeah, I do. For what we did get, I do like basically how they introduce us to Gazora. I mean, like aside from the fact that we just fucking love Gazora, I do like how they introduce him and how how he's like literally introduced on screen. You have these sort of like ominous moments. I like that it starts off almost as this like eldritch horror in a way, where people just sort of like witness it and are sort of like it doesn't. They don't really. That's not what the actual nature of what Gazora is. But I like that. That's kind of how it builds at first.
They do make him seem like potentially the scariest monster that's ever existed.
Yeah, they really, really do.
Before you then see him just sort of like goofily just like
dancing about.
Up. Yeah,
his element is not land. It's really unfair that he had to go on land because he's really scary in the water. You guys, I swear.
Yeah.
There's bright lights and the bubbling waters and his freezing cold body.
I do think
mine. Oh, sorry.
I do think the mystery of like why some people were being attacked and why others were not being attacked could have also been built out really well, because I mean that is something that kind of got me interested when you see at least one person get like brutally attacked and I think just like eaten and killed or whatever by Gazora, and then later you see some of your main characters get attacked, and the only context you've had so far is, oh shit, if Gazora gets its tentacles on you, you're fucked, right? So I was sitting there watching the movie being like, are we about to lose these guys? Because the only context we've had is that this thing will destroy you. And so then I was interested in why they were not attacked. Like, I think that could have been a really interesting thing, and I think it was a good idea to not introduce that right away, like the actual solution right away. It's something that I wish that they had built the characters actually figuring out in a way that was kind of rewarding, as opposed to just like an aha moment.
I would like to discuss the tentacles and the
Let's
tentacles,
get hentai up in this shit, man. Hell
just destroying the huts and the little like model work of people, and it's delightful, and it really is, like, you know,
the
like
dolls.
I just the dolls, yes, and there's
So many dolls.
it's just like it's, you know, like there's no real menace to it, but it's just like, all right, we have our first big set piece here, and let's go to town with this big freak just smashing things up. And I feel like, you know, I see a lot of myself in him, because that's when I enter someone's life, it's just all chaos and destruction, and I love that. And he's a relatable hero for our times, is what I'm saying.
I do think it's interesting that, like, yes, Gazora on his own is like not that intimidating or scary, but they do manage in this movie to like make it feel like everyone is actually horrified by him.
Yeah, the sense of dread is
it's
palpable.
strange, you know, like it doesn't feel like it should work, but it does.
Yeah,
it's maybe one of the most like realistic portrayals of like people actually having reactions to having witnessed a giant fucking like sea monster just like destroy their home. People really have authentically traumatized reactions to this.
Yes. I mean, this is a weird pull in this exact moment, but one of the things that I liked about the King of the Monsters, the recent King of the Monsters movie, was that Millie Bobby Brown sold the fact that this shit was horrifying. You know what I mean? So it's nice in this movie also, that's from a completely different time, to have people selling that exact same fantasy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And the dolls. The dolls are very cute.
The dolls. Also protect the dolls. But I do I love all the dolls, and I love all the dolls as they are attacked by monsters and stuff. Do you know what my favorite doll is, though? The doll that is Akira Kubo swinging from a branch on the side of the cliff.
Why do they even need that? Like, a person can do, like, I'm not, like, to be clear, I'm not mad about it. I love it. But, like, why did they need that? I don't understand.
It's weird because you see the doll first and you're like, oh, that must have been so dangerous that they like built a miniature instead. But then you also see Akira Kubo hanging on the side of a cliff set. So it's like, they truly didn't need to do it at all.
So funny.
Such an odd choice.
I don't get it.
So good.
I don't get it, but I love it. Don't get it, but I love it.
Yeah.
You know what? Just replace people with dolls.
Yep.
Just all over the place. It's fine.
Every
all
moment.
All stunt sequences should be rag dolls and dolls.
Yes.
And just like regular dolls.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every sequence that is like a superimposed tentacle picking somebody up and then switching over to a doll being thrown and then switching back over to a person, like somersaulting on set. Perfection.
Yeah.
Also, it is actually quite effective. The superimposition is not necessarily effective, but the superimposed tentacles, when they pick people up, it is effective in that they look like they are being picked up. Like they figured some way to actually pick those people up out of the frame.
Yeah. What do you think of the sort of rotoscoped, like, animated tentacles that they have a couple of times?
Yeah, I guess that's more what I'm referring to. They don't.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. They're not. Yeah, you're right. They're not superimposed. They're specifically like animated on there. But I think they're fun. I don't think they necessarily like are effective. But rotoscoping at this point isn't meant to be integrated. It is meant to pull something off. You know. So in the sense that it looks like a person is being picked up by them, it is effective.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I can't deny an argument that someone can make that it's like the effects of this movie are not up to par with what they could have
they're not.
theoretically done. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But I have such an affinity for these types of effects, and when you can see how clearly what they're doing, like I love that. I love seeing, like you're saying, Doug, like a fucking like rotoscoped animated tentacle followed by a doll followed by just like a real actor pretending to be thrown. Like I love that shit because I love being able to sort of see the movie being kind of made before my eyes for these particular types of circumstances.
I think that's why that disparity of like I enjoy this movie and have fun watching it and will be happy to watch it again, and this movie isn't actually very good. Like, I think you've explained exactly why that is. It's like fun to know how they did it. It's fun to see how they pull these things off, even if they're not doing a good job necessarily integrating them, or they're not necessarily being consistent about the effects. Because there's several different ways they do the tentacles. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a consistent way that they do them.
There's, like, there are other movies of this kind of type of movie that are way better, right?
Sure.
But ultimately, I find it very hard to be critical about this kind of stuff because when the 84 minutes or whatever are over, I feel like, okay, I was really entertained by that. And I was entertained by that enough to want to go back and revisit it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm aware that, like, there's so much better, there's so many better kaiju films out there that I can watch. But I think it's interesting, like being fascinated by Honda the man and the filmmaker, to see this work, and to I think there's a lot of worth all around for this. But most importantly, like, is this an entertaining movie? Yeah, it definitely, no doubt. Is it a good movie? No. Is it even a good kaiju movie? No, but it's entertaining as all hell. Like, I'm really entertained by a lot of the choices in this movie, even with the flat characterization and some weird choices. I ultimately feel like it was worth my time to watch this.
There are bad movies that we've watched that I have no interest in watching again. I know the circumstances are different for Varen, but like that's a bad movie that I also am not interested in watching again. This is a not good movie that I can't wait to watch again. Like that. Yeah. It's a different thing,
I'd be interested to hear like when you both go back and do watch this again, because I found I got more out of it on my second viewing.
Yeah.
Because I had no expectations.
Yeah,
because you know what you're getting into, and you kind of know what more to look for. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I am curious what you guys thought about the monster fights, especially because I had kind of gotten to a point where I thought maybe we wouldn't get one. I kind of was like expecting it would be, it's going to be monster gone, monster gone, monster gone, which would have been like an interesting structure to see them try to pull off. But like, if you're going to have more than one monster, you want them to fight. So what did you guys think of the monster fights in this?
I didn't think there was anything particularly inventive about them. I thought it was very like perfunctory and very just very much like by the numbers. But I still that said, like, you still have monsters beating the shit out of each other. So how, like, that's like saying like what kind of ice cream is the worst. It's still like this is where I have a hard time being overly critical of this.
Yeah. There's still fun stuff. Anytime a monster gets thrown over another monster, I'm cheering.
Yeah.
And it's it is still pretty brutal too, I will say. Like, I do think the fucking like turtle Camubus being dragged by his head in Gaminus's claws, like his fucking I felt that felt like visceral,
and I
like
felt
stuff like that. I felt that.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like everything else in this movie where we've seen better versions of it, but that doesn't make this any less fun.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with anything we were just talking about, but it's just a thing that like occurred to me, and it feels very Galaxy Brain, so I need to say it right now. The space amoeba, it's an amorphous, like the sort of like kind of an amorphous space creature that comes, it says, from a race of conquerors from space, comes to Earth, possesses people's bodies, and has a weakness to sound. That's fucking Venom. That's just the Venom symbiote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Astro Quasars, conquerors of space. And it's like, I want to hear more about Astro Quasars, please.
I'm so glad you said astro quasars because, okay, we talked about how the doctor supposedly isn't telling us something and then like suddenly figures out what's going on. The astro quasar says you would know us as. So like, who knows you as that?
Oh my God, I never did catch that. That's such a good point.
Yeah.
So there's a whole story we're the audience not being told.
Yeah.
Wild.
They thought they were going to get a 7-movie series, you know?
Oh yeah. But like, tell me more about yourself, Astro Quasar.
Right.
Like, I would like to learn more.
Totally. Yeah. Especially because you're basically just like space glitter.
Yeah. Yes, very much. Yes.
Oh my God.
The queer icons we didn't know we needed.
Exactly.
And yet there they are.
Yeah. Between them and like the glittery outfits the Kilax wear and Destroy All Monsters, and the sort of like the coats that the Mysterians have too, like
space
like queer,
is gay.
queer
I will keep
aliens.
saying
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there needs to be like a really good like edit of all of these moments, like just an absolutely like banger gay iconic song. Maybe, I don't know, Supermodel or like
you can always
Bronski
throw some
Boys.
Gloria Gaynor on there.
Like
and that
oh
works.
yeah. No, disco would definitely work with that. Yeah.
The only other notes that stick out to me is that there's a point when they just straight up pour gasoline all over the ground and then start firing guns right over top of the gasoline.
After they've run around in it. Like, there's no method to the madness with which they pour that gasoline. They're all just like running around like ants.
Utter chaos.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. It's like, no wonder your plans don't fucking work, you guys. Like, what are you doing? Jesus Christ. And then I'm like, is the suit actor just burning in that fire? Because it really seems like these suits are on fire right now, but I don't know, man.
I don't know.
At this point, I would like to pose this question that I threatened to at the start of the episode. So
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Of course
Yeah,
you
I
do.
do too.
Gazora, Ganame, Kamiba's fuck, marry, kill.
I know it.
Yeah. I think this is so easy for me.
Yeah.
Okay, go, Doug.
And I know this often depends on how people are interpreting the fuck, marry, kill, but I think I've been consistent in how I tend to tackle it. I'm killing Ganemus. I'm fucking Kamibus, and I'm marrying Gazora. Hello.
That is the absolute right answer.
That was going to be my exact answer.
All
too.
right, so we all are in complete and utter agreement here. I'm glad to see. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yep. I will fuck the turtle. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. I mean, you saw the neck action.
I saw the neck.
What did that mouth do?
Seriously. Look, you can't just put a phallic monster up there and then not think that we're not going to go for it.
I'm glad here on my 18th appearance on Skrionk that we finally are all in agreement for a fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah.
It took 18 times, but we made it.
Yeah. Well, before we jump into a volcano like Obata does at the end of this movie, anything else you want to say about it? I know, right?
Poor guy. I was hoping, like he had his little redemption arc, but he still he went out like a hero.
You know what? It feels like the perfect ending for the character Kenji Sahara built in his mind. You know?
Yeah.
Go out in the most like fantastic big fashion possible.
Right.
Like, how did he die? He jumped into a volcano.
Right.
While an alien was possessing his body.
Right. To have figured out what the weakness of the alien is and still jump into the volcano to stop it is iconic behavior.
Yeah.
Bro,
Absolutely.
You figured it out already.
Oh my God.
So good.
I guess my closing thoughts would be like, this is a movie that, I knew nothing about it. I stumbled upon it by accident. We've just spent 2 hours discussing, the high and low points of it, but I think like it's definitely worth your time. It's on Criterion Channel right now if you have it, along with a bunch of other Honda movies. But it's also on like Internet Archive.
Too.
It looks great on Criterion.
Yeah.
And it's on Internet Archive and YouTube. I think it's on YouTube as well. So it's not a hard film to watch. And I just recommend, like I said, like a late night viewing or like a rainy Saturday or Sunday afternoon. Put it on. You're going to enjoy it.
Grab
it's not going to change your life.
Make a night out of it.
Yes. Yeah. You'll,
just setting up Monster Seafood Wars for our sequel episode.
Fuck yes.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I want a Gazora body pillow for reasons. But yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
A lot of
Great.
fun. It is a lot of fun, as indeed has been chatting with you both about this film.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I ultimately, despite all its flaws, still enjoyed it. Still has a great core to it, and it's got me thinking the Space Amoeba fanfic will exist, and
Yeah.
you know, we'll always dream of a remake.
Put it on
Yeah.
our shelf, you know?
Yep.
Yep. So the cover art for this episode, Doug is doing it.
Hey.
Yes, if you want to take a look at it, we don't have it yet, but if you want to take a look at it, you'll be able to see it, listener, because it'll be done by the time the episode's out.
The way Derek just looked at me.
Hopefully, you can find that obviously anywhere you get your podcasts if it shows cover art, and you can find it on our social media, and you can find it on glitterjaw.com. We have a cover art gallery on our Screenonk page, so check it out there. Next up, I want to give us our schedule for the rest of 2025, because somehow this year is already almost over, which doesn't make any sense to me. On October 13th, we already mentioned it, Godzilla versus Hedorah.
Yay!
Yes.
That's coming
up.
Yes.
Long awaited. The episode that like 7 people have come to me being like, do you have a guest for that? And I'm like, everyone wants to be a fucking guest for this movie.
Yeah.
I hope we haven't overhyped it for you, Doug.
No, I
We'll
don't
see.
think you have. I think I have now seen the majority of Godzilla movies. I feel like my expectations are all pretty like solid, given
Yeah.
context. I'm just excited because we recently watched Space Godzilla, and now we're watching Hedorah, and those are the 2 monsters that like I just have been waiting forever to know anything about, and have resisted so long learning anything about. So I'm excited to meet Hedorah.
As you should be.
Yeah.
Then that's the only movie that we're going to be doing in October. So just one episode in October. In November, though, we're going to have 3.
Whoa. Okay. Happy
Tentatively,
Thanksgiving.
unless we end up, well, it's also like Godzilla's birthday is on November 3rd, right?
Oh,
so
perfect.
like it's Godzilla's birthday month. Kind of makes sense for this to be the one. That's maybe we'll change this plan, but I think it made sense because there is an animation trilogy that exists, right? So
the one I keep forgetting about.
right. So there's 3 movies that came out across 2017 and 2018. Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle, and Godzilla the Planet Eater. It is one like continuous story across 3 movies. So, you know, I know all the other eras, we've sort of like kind of interspersed them and sort of rotated it out so we can, you know, experience all the Godzilla movies. But I mean, it kind of made sense to just do these all in one sort of block. And also they're the only Godzilla movies that are like official Godzilla films that are animated. So like they're just weird for a variety of reasons. It just kind of makes sense to knock them out in one month. So 13th, 20th, 27th, 3 consecutive weeks in November that will just knock out all of those movies.
Hell yeah.
So that'll be an interesting month, packed month. And then for December, we're going to wrap up the year Christmas with Kong. We're going to have on December 13th, Kong Skull Island from 2017.
Yes.
And then
Excited.
December 27th, the MonsterVerse film Godzilla vs. Kong from 2021.
Nice. Which is,
That's how we're ending the year.
I think it's the last MonsterVerse movie I have to see.
Yeah, because you've seen New Empire after that, right?
Right.
So,
Folks know I've seen New
yes.
Empire and Skull Island at this point.
Yes. Yeah. So that'll be fun. So that's how we're going to wrap up the rest of the year. But Doug,
Yeah.
predictions.
Yes.
Yes. So for Space Amoeba, obviously we don't just do any old Toho movie on our podcast. We save that for the Patreon. for doing a movie on the main feed of the podcast, it means it has something, it plays into an actual Godzilla film in some way. Why do you think we watch Space Amoeba?
I mean, there are two big possibilities. One of them I think is the especially obvious one, which is that they made 3 brand new monsters for this movie. At least one of them will come back in some way, shape, or form, if not more than one of them in one or more movies in some way, shape, or form. It just feels ridiculous that they would introduce these monsters, have these suits, and not use them again. So that feels like one very real possibility and probably the most obvious one. But it is getting a little too easy to just always say the monsters. So I think the other possibility is the fact that this Space Amoeba thing has been established as something they can use moving forward. I wouldn't be surprised if in another era this is something they just pull as sort of like an obscure thing and kind of reinvent in some way, shape, or form. So I think that's the other possibility.
Okay. Which one do you personally think is more likely, or which one do you want more?
The more likely one is the monsters themselves. What's weird though is like I do feel like if any of the monsters come back, like I kind of feel like Godzilla is the least likely to come back, and I don't know why, other than just a gut feeling.
Interesting.
So I think that's more likely. I think that's like way, way, way more likely than the space amoeba coming back. And I guess I probably would have to say I want the monsters again because I want to see Godzilla again.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be good. I mean, you did say it yourself. It would be good to see them sort of retell this story of this space amoeba possession. So that would be pretty cool.
Chris, do you know why I put this movie in the podcast?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I will say this. I didn't know until like 10 minutes before recording when I found out. Not through Derek either. I just kind of found out.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
So don't Google anything, I guess, about this movie, Doug.
Don't.
All right.
Do not research.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. So the next movie we're doing is Godzilla Tokyo SOS, which is the next film in the Millennium Era, which comes after Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
Okay. It's a title I know, but I have no idea why it's called that outside of just, I guess, the obvious reason that Tokyo's in danger.
Isn't it always? Do you know anything? What do you think you know about this movie? Do you know anything about it at all?
I don't know anything about this movie at all, especially because, I mean, Millennium is always so hard to figure out anyway. So if it's if anything could happen in the Millennium Era. So if it is a follow-up to Against Mechagodzilla, I'm not really sure why or what that title would indicate. If it's not, then it's like impossible to know, other than it is some sort of like apocalyptic scenario for Tokyo.
Okay. Since you brought it up, then I would be curious. If it were to be a follow-up to Against Mechagodzilla, like, what do you think that would look like?
Oh gosh, I shouldn't have said that because I'm not going to recall any of these names off the top of my head. But I do feel like our sad girl would be a good character to explore more. Right? That's possible, right?
Yeah. So that was the one. Yeah. So
because this is the one with Kiryu, and she
pilots him, and there's also the girl with the plant and her dad, and the weird will they, won't they stuff. Yeah.
I think you could sort of easily pick up with those characters, but I think you also could easily do anything with them. So I think if it were a follow up, it would be really easy to keep that core, those three. But I don't know, you could do anything you wanted. It's not like they've limited themselves in that particular story.
Yeah. Predictions for Millennium Era is really hard, isn't it? Because it's just like, I don't know, what can they just put into a Godzilla movie that could be anything? I don't know, anything that's unrelated to anything else.
Truly. Especially when you have a movie like Against Mechagodzilla that just decides like, here's the bits of lore we are going to use. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah. Cool. Chris, do you have any questions that you would want to ask Doug, like prediction wise at all for anything Godzilla related or kaiju related?
I just kind of want to know in regards to, Hedorah, because that's like not like, I think that is actually crept into my like top 5 favorites of all time.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm just wondering, like, what is your awareness of anything involving Hedorah? Like, what do you know about that character or the movie or anything at this point?
No, I think this is a good question because I think this is one of the times where it's like good to be transparent. I know what Hedorah looks like. There's like no mystery to me about what Hedorah looks like because Hedorah is like so frequently done in fan art and reposted and all this sort. And it's a fun design. The nature of it, I don't necessarily know, other than I think, just based on osmosis, I think this is a movie that was called Godzilla versus the Smog Monster or something to that effect, which does make me think that it probably is a movie that has something to say about environmentalism. But some of this is like drawing conclusions, not necessarily actually knowing things. So I know what it looks like. I was pretty sure that Smog Monster was a thing that was attached to this. But what that actually means, I don't necessarily know.
Just bear in mind, we just watched a movie called Space Amoeba, though, too. Which
Uh-huh.
So, Yeah,
It
I
could
will.
be
I
anything.
will not.
American
confirm nor
titles
deny.
don't really,
Yeah.
indicate all the time what's going on.
Godzilla versus the Thing.
Atragon, anyone?
Like, in all seriousness, like this episode where you both talk about Hedorah is one of like my most anticipated pop culture things this fall. So I
Jesus Christ.
cannot wait
I know.
to like hear this episode.
I'm excited.
Terrified.
I'm excited.
Terrified.
No, it's gonna be great. Come on, it's gonna be great.
Well, yeah, I mean, all the pressure's not on me.
Yeah. Well, this has been a blast,
Yeah.
Chris. Plug away. If you want to find you and everything you're doing, where's the best place to do that?
Yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Sci-Fi Explosion. And also, I occasionally stream during the week at twitch.tv/Sci-Fi Explosion. And I stream every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. Eastern to roughly 1 p.m. And then sometimes the entire day. Also at Twitch, I do Cosmic Cartoons every Saturday morning, which is kind of like a crazy retro Saturday morning cartoon show where you'll see old episodes intercut with like wacky commercials, public service announcements. I show a lot of crazy stuff. I've been trying to like get into doing like all day streaming on Saturday. So you
Nice.
never know what you'll see. So just tune in there. Yeah, just basically on your favorite social media waste of time at Sci-Fi Explosion.
I feel like it's so valuable, Chris, because there's something about like not knowing what you're getting into when you turn on the proverbial TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
like lacking now.
Yeah.
That I think it's really it's nice. More people should do it. More people
It's
should
like-
check it out.
Oh, hey, what am I obsessed with this minute? Okay,
Right.
here we go.
Right.
We also do a thing together on your Twitch too. That's very relevant to
do.
people who like kaiju and tokusatsu movies.
Yes, I was waiting for you to pitch that because all I do is stream it. It is your show. We just use my channel.
It's come up before on here. We plugged it before. We have a Tokusatsu Thursday.
Yeah.
We do that. Yeah, we stream that together on your Sci-Fi Explosion Twitch, and that
Derek
is-
does all the work.
I get feedback from you sometimes.
Yeah, my
all
feedback
right.
is, oh, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Yeah, that's my feedback.
Skreonk listeners are used to that because I
Yeah,
don't do any
it's
work
just-
for this.
It's me being enthusiastic about nerd shit. Who'd have guessed? Yes. Tokusatsu Thursday, everyone, is very much Derek's baby. I just run it on my Twitch stream, and it is always like I learn about something new every single Tokusatsu
yes.
Thursday and become so obsessed with it. And it's wonderful. If you're a regular listener of this show, you probably have already seen Tokusatsu Thursday. But yeah, it's an absolute delight, and I'm so happy that Derek lets me host it on my channel.
Yeah, I thank you for letting me put all this put this together on your channel. It is just a compilation of tokusatsu related stuff, mostly TV shows, but also movies sometimes, and also like other clips and commercials and music videos and behind the scenes stuff where you can find it. Just a whole compilation. Usually, sometimes they'll be based around some kind of theme, and it's a combination of like greatest hits and crowd pleasers that you probably already know, but also like mixed in with like deep cuts and like toku things you've probably never seen before. And it's, I would hope that it's good for people who are new to toku to introduce you to things to then become obsessed with and research on your own, hopefully. But we have one coming up on September 25th, and that's going to be at 7:30 p.m., right? Eastern
7:30
time?
p.m. Yes.
Yeah, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on September 25th. And join us there. No, I don't think there's going to be a theme or anything like that. It's just going to be
Theme is fun.
the theme is fun. It'll just be
Fun.
random
Hey.
stuff. So, yeah. Join us there at twitch.tv/sci-fi explosion. Doug, if people want to find you and everything you're doing, where's the best place to do that?
You can find me all over the place at Ikkybooley, ICKYBOOLEY. Pretty much everything I'm doing on Glitterjaw. That includes a show Derek and I do weekly called Walloping Web Snappers, where we deep dive into every Spider-Man cartoon ever made. Another show Derek and I do together called Falling with Style, where we initially we're watching all the Pixar movies. We got caught up, so now sometimes we do some other animated or sometimes family oriented entertainment, looking for the queerness because Pixar doesn't put it in there. And I do a show with my friend Katie called Novel Gaming, where we catch up on the books, video games, and sometimes other media we've been enjoying lately. And I believe, if I have the release date for this episode we are recording right now correct, there should be an episode maybe this same weekend or coming up that Derek and I are appearing on a podcast called Play Comics, talking about Ultimate Spider-Man, the video game, and a little bit about the Ultimate Spider-Man comics.
I think that would have just dropped like literally the day before.
Perfect.
So yeah, so that should be out now.
So yeah, check that out.
Yeah. As for me, you can find me most places at Derek B. Gale. In addition to the podcast Doug mentioned, I also have Gimmicks, where my co-host David and I look at high concept, experimental, and structure-breaking gimmicky episodes of TV. We just started a new season of that. I think by this point, our episode on Happy Days will have just come out this week, and it is about the time Happy Days jumped the shark, famously. So if you want to get a historical deep dive into where that phrase comes from and how exactly it got coined and turned into what it was, that episode, it was a really fun one to do. So definitely check that out, and then get the Happy Days theme song stuck in your head for many weeks after, which is the life that I am leading right now. I also have Lee Carvalho's Potting Challenge, which is a podcast I do with my co-host Tommy, where we look at Simpsons tie-in video games, as well as deep dives into the pop culture history around it, and of course history about the Simpsons TV show and general video game history. Our most recent episode was one on the unreleased game Simpsons Bug Squad, which was really just a tech demo, but was a really interesting deep dive into video game preservation. And we also talk about the end of the Simpsons golden age in the TV show. So if you don't care about Simpsons video games, we always have a lot of conversation about the show and about pop culture, and deep dives into sometimes seemingly very random topics that are tangentially related to the games as well. So
the Sega Dreamcast.
yeah, we talked a lot about that.
It was very funny when both of you were sort of like, I don't really know anything about the Sega Dreamcast, and I was like, oh my god, it's like such a legendary story.
Nope, never touched one in my life. That's why I'm hosting a video game podcast. And we do have an episode coming up at the end of this month. I think it'll be the 24th, but don't quote me on that. That's going to be on Simpsons Road Rage, and someone familiar will be guesting on it, and you might know Chris here is going to be guesting on that episode. So
hello.
Yeah. So definitely check that out, Lee Carvalho's Potting Challenge, anywhere you get your podcasts. If you'd like to find other queer creators to talk about media, check out the Glitterjaw Queer Podcast Collective at glitterjaw.com. All those podcasts we mentioned are part of Glitterjaw. Follow Glitterjaw on Blue Sky at Glitterjaw, and on Instagram at GlitterjawPods. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/wallopingwebsnappers. That's, of course, the name of our Spider-Man podcast, but it supports everything Doug and I do together, and we do have plenty of Screonk tie-in episodes on that Patreon feed. Check out our Discord. There's a link to that in the show notes, and email us at screonkpodcast@gmail.com. Rate, review, subscribe on all your podcast platforms, and join us again on September 27th for the penultimate film in the Millennium Era with 2003's Godzilla Tokyo SOS.
Help!
Help!
See ya.
Bye.